And what's going on? It's your boy Joe Fontaine, the VIP Sound Lab. And today I just wanted to show you how you can stack and layer your MIDI instruments, because I had some questions on that. And basically the questions were as far as how can I layer my MIDI instruments, stack the sounds, and can I trigger sounds from another group while being in another group? And the answer to that is yes, you can. Me generally, let me go ahead and just show you this right quick. Here's one group, and as you can see right here, I have two MIDI instruments, and here's group B. I'm labeling it MIDI examples just so I can show you how you can trigger sounds from other groups. Now, we all know that Maschine, you can stack and layer up to 128 sounds on one sound, or pad, whatever you want to call it. Now, me, I generally do not use more than 16 instruments, but I guess there are some people who do, because I've been getting questions on that. I more or less, I can, get more or less what I need out of instruments in one group, and perhaps stem those out and put them in another DAW, or whatever the case may be. I use Maschine like that a lot of times, just to store my instrument MIDI files and things of that nature while soloing some, muting others. But that's a whole nother story. But there might be a situation where you might have instruments across multiple groups with other sounds. You might want to trigger those different sounds. So whatever the case may be, to answer your questions, I'm going to show you how you can do that, because I've been getting a ton of emails on that. So I'm just going to go ahead and address it in this particular video. As you can see right here, I have Nexus on Sound 1. And if you want to follow along at home, I'm using the VIP Sound Lab Supreme Peripherals Expansion Kit. And I'm using Bank 1 Sound 10 on this particular sound here. So as you can see right here, the instrument, if I play it by itself, just give me a second to go to my keyboard here. I'm not going to go too long. I just want to show you that it's triggering up by itself. And then right here I have another sound here on my Genesis. I'm just going to do that right quick so you can see it's playing by itself. Kind of like a gritty, dirty bass sound. Now, if you want to trigger these sounds together, it's pretty easy. Now, I think where a friend of mine got confused was when you right-click on a group, okay, up here, Sound MIDI Batch Setup, that basically is just a copy of what you have down here where it says Sound MIDI Batch Setup. You don't have to worry about that right now. Up here, this is more or less the scene MIDI settings when you want to trigger your scenes from your hardware controller or your MIDI controller. You don't want to touch that either. So basically, the only thing that you need to do is you simply you right click here. I'm on my trackpad, so if I'm moving kind of slow with this, I'm sorry. All my USBs are currently in use. Sound MIDI settings. If my fingers will cooperate here. All right, we go under Enable. Now, as you can see right here, we have MIDI channel 1. On Maschine, you have up to 16 MIDI channels. I'm using MIDI channel 1 right now. If your devices, if you have multiple MIDI devices in your studio and you want to trigger other instruments, that's how you would do it. All right, so you have your low note and your high note here, basically, or your zone range, for lack of a better term, and your root note here. Okay. Now we go to Genesis. Same thing. We want to right click. We want to go to Sound MIDI Settings, enable it. Again, on the same MIDI channel, very important. Again, they have to be on the same MIDI channel. Why? So that they can be triggered from the MIDI from your MIDI controller. So now when I go to my my keyboard here, So you can see right there, they're both, everything's being triggered off at the same time. All right, again, I'm not trying to make a beat or anything, guys. Sorry from, playing like that. I'm just trying to get it in right quick in the video. I don't want to run too long. All right, so let's go to a different group. What should we do first? I put 2 examples in here just to show the flexibility of this technique. For example, where we have here, which is a simple. Now, being that I have the MIDI tracks enabled on group A, if you try to play anything else, remember that audio from group A is going to be played. So don't let that give you a headache. If you're going to use that for that specific purpose, because it's going to alter other things in Maschine. So right here where it says Guru Sessions, where I use the kick from one of my drum kits. One of my Maschine Guru Sessions kick, that's a drum kit that I have available on my website, where we have custom Maschine drum kits. But anyway, you can see right here, it's a kick, just a plain simple normal kick. But what I wanted to show you was, if you can right click here and go to Sound MIDI settings, do the same thing as we did with the instruments. Again, we get the MIDI channel, as well as the zone range. What happens is, let me go back to the pattern arranger so you can see the LED indicate on that. Now, when I hit my MIDI controller, you see how the kick it's sounding off with it. Just trying to see how it would play out, but you see how that kick, let me turn it up a little bit, because I'm not sure if that kick is being heard. Yeah, I can definitely hear it now. So let's say if it was like, that's crazy clipping, but I just did that so you can hear that kick coming through, because again, it's being triggered right along with the instruments from group A. And that pretty much would sum it up in a nutshell, showing that you can trigger sounds from other groups using this feature. Now, here's another instrument, which actually is another instance of Nexus, I should say. So, if I go to Sound MIDI settings, this is another example. Just want to show you right quick. Same channel, you know how it goes. And now, when I go to my MIDI keyboard, see it being triggered off there. Now, wow, that's really echoey. I know. Sorry about that. But what I wanted to show you was, okay, if I just tap this, you see right there, it's saying Nexus and Genesis being triggered off. So what I want to do is, while I'm tapping that, I want to press Group B here just to show you. See how it's lighting up there on another group. I don't have my Maschine controller plugged in right now, because if I did, it would be a lot easier to go through the groups. But now I can play all 3, or layer and stack all 3 of these instruments at the same time. Simple. All right, again, I'm just playing something really quick. Sorry if I'm playing kind of sloppy on that, guys, because I'm just trying to get it in. I don't want to run too long in this video. I'm trying to answer as many questions as I can, because that was an email that was blowing my inbox up, and and I had to go ahead and address that right quick. Yeah, and another matter of fact, while I have this out, there's another VIP member question I want to answer. Yeah, right here where it says patterns 1 through 16, they were asking me how can, I think they got, because they, they're new to Maschine. Right here, your pattern bank. This is the easiest way I'm going to show you before you start actually using the hardware controller. Now, your hardware controller, you can do it there, and I had previous tutorials on that. So when you get a little more comfortable, take a look at those videos for mapping sounds, stacking sounds. right here where it says pad bank, you have 4 banks, and these are patterns 1 through 64. So right here, 1 is 1 through 17. When I hit 2, see how that changes? It went to 17 to 32. And when I go back again, pad bank 3, it will go from 33 to 48. And when I go back again, sorry for my slow moving trackpad here, at 49 to 64. Okay, so that's how you can scroll through your patterns like that, using your mouse. Anyway, you can do that from the hardware controller, which works a lot easier. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think I pretty much covered that pretty well. Other than, let me go ahead and address this also. Another thing I wanted to show, you can group your sounds also. So if I hit pad link, I'm gonna have to shrink my screen down so I can show you this. When you right click and when you put your sounds in a same group, you can trigger sounds that way too. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to do it, but I'm gonna show you this way. Notice how where it says master and slave is grayed out. When I hit pad group 1, now when I go to this sound, I go to pad link, pad group 1, again, master and slave is grayed out. Now when I go back, take a look. See how now I have the master and the slave option? You know, I'm not going to get into that too much, but I don't want to say a round robin effect, but it's not really a round robin effect, but you can set one instrument up as a master, as I did there, and then you can come here and you can set another instrument up as a slave. I think I hit master by mistake. As a slave. There we go. And what happens is when you play one instrument, you can trigger, let's say, Nexus without triggering Genesis, or you can trigger Genesis without triggering Nexus, or whatever instrument that you have, hypersonic, Omnisphere, you know, you get the idea. Whatever your favorite VST instrument is. Another thing I want to mention was, remember with Maschine, you have a 32-bit and a 64-bit mode. And if you do not find your instruments in that little plugin window right there where it says plugins, remember some plugins are 32-bit and some are 64-bit. So play around with that. Open up a 64-bit Maschine or open up a 32-bit Maschine icon, and you will notice some plugins will appear in 32-bit mode, others will appear in 64-bit mode. Now, some instruments, for example, work differently in Maschine than other DAWs. For example, this Genesis plugin right here, you see you will not find any windows on here to navigate to find your menu for selecting instruments, whereas another DAW, that window may be there. With Maschine, you have this little icon right here where it says VST presets. That's where you're going to find all of your instrument sounds on some plugins. Don't get me wrong, because it's not on all. For example, Nexus is a plugin where the navigation is more internal. You know, for example, where it says system here, you can import data using this icon here. And I can go inside my computer. Matter of fact, if anybody has bought my, let me go inside my computer right quick. I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. Let me just jump down. I'm going to show you guys something else right quick. Let me jump inside here to the content folder. The Nexus content folder, where it says presets, that's where you want to drop your Nexus expansions. For example, right here, you see VIP SoundLab Nexus 2, Supreme Club Elements, Power Sets, Banks, Bank Kits, and Power Sets. Okay, that's where you put them in. 9 times out of 10, when you open up Nexus, it's going to automatically scan those and import that library. So when you go to libraries, I'm doing here, you see where it says VIP SoundLab Nexus expansions, and I can scroll through the sounds as well as some of my other expansions that I do have dropped inside there. And you also have the option under here where you can change the skins. Like my expansion kit includes all the skins as well. You know, if you want to use Kill Bill, you know, or Matrix, you know, just to pimp it out, you have a resolution screen right here where you can control the dimness, the brightness. You also have an analyzer right here. I don't know if you guys know that, the frequency analyzer right here, where if I my sound right there. So by that, you can analyze that and see that it's a little more bass heavy, and it's going a little light towards the highs. And yeah, let me go ahead and pull that up so you guys can see that. This is the expansion that I'm using right now in this video. In case somebody is wondering, if you're a VIP member, you're pretty familiar with this. You can come by my website. You can pick up this expansion that I have for Nexus. You get like 129 Supreme Club elements. You get the club keys, some orchestra expansions, all the skins, a lot of presets. You get a lot of power sets and a lot of FXB instruments. And when you download the kit, it's going to look like this right here. So when you open it up, I also include instructions how to load FXB files inside Nexus. But I just showed you that, you just drop this inside the content folder, and Nexus will pick it up. So yeah, man, that's pretty much it, man. It's your boy Joe Fontaine of the VIP Sound Lab. That's how you layer and stack your instruments. Now, I also want to mention, let me do this too before I get out of here. Remember when your MIDI notes show up like this, for example, remember you can take a MIDI note, okay, and you can stack this right on top of that, and that sound's going to be stacked. It's going to be double. Remember, you can stack your sounds as high as 128 sounds, if I'm not mistaken. You guys might want to read up on that, but that's going to make it louder, whether it's drum kicks, snares, whatever. If you do that, what I'm doing right here, like taking this, see how the other one's still there? When you put that on top, you're stacking sounds. When you're putting instruments on the same MIDI channel, you're basically triggering multiple devices or multiple instances. You're making a monster synth, for a lack of a better term. You're making a monster synth. It's layering it, of course, and you do have the option to go in here and mix the overall volume levels. If you want to get them in like that. Or another way is if you have them across different groups. Don't forget, on the master level, you can come in here and still blend those instrument sounds together. I think if you put this to -5 dB, it's hard for me to do it right now because on my trackpad, that'll keep it from clipping up here. Because you definitely don't want to be clipping with your sounds. So anyway, that's pretty much it. This is your boy Joe Fontaine, the VIP Sound Lab. Be sure to come by my website. We have a membership. It's $9.99. It's a one-time fee. Locks you in for a lifetime subscription of free drum kits, controller editor templates, you name it. Motif sounds, sounds for the MPC, 5,000 sounds, 2,000 sounds, 60, 3,000, SB 1200. We have a lot of controller editor templates for presets for slicing and chopping. I mean, the VIP database has a lot of goodies in there. When you sign up, we send you a VIP welcome package, which includes a free drum kit, instructions how to get started on the site, and I guess I will pretty much see you on the next one. You have a nice day.